Good morning. It's really a pleasure to be here. My name is Mudit, and for those of you who don't know what it means always happy. So
That's a good thing.
just a little background about me. And a little bit I can share with you. I recently got my braces on, something which I had been really pushing for many, many years. And an amazing thing happened after I did that. I actually feel like I'm 16 years old now. So just a tip in case you want to feel younger, try some braces on. But no, really an insightful discussion. I really agree with a lot of the things which were discussed here. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about NetCom. At NetCom, we really help companies build a better and smarter workforce. We help them drive through change as well as drive growth. A lot of what we do is focused around helping companies identify what their current skill gaps are and then how to bridge those skill gaps. And what we've been finding is as we do this, companies become more productive, they become more agile, so they become more competitive. I'll share with you a couple of quick slides here that talk a little bit more about NetCom and essentially the framework that we follow in terms of how we identify those skill gaps and how we meet those skill gaps. So we really cover this through our 5 pillars of managed learning services, and the 5 pillars are learning consulting, learning content, delivery, technology, and administration. And our engagements with our clients typically start at the consulting level, where we start working with them, we do a needs analysis. So we really work with them to identify what the business objectives are, and is the current skill set in the company, is that strong enough to be able to meet that that need? And by identifying where the people are right now and where they need to be, we are able to identify what the skill gap is and then come up with learning solutions to help bridge that skill gap. We do a lot of assessments, and again, this is really helpful for companies to be able to identify what the key pain points are and how to maximize their investment in learning. So we had an example where we had a large financial company that came to us for a specific project. They had about 300 people they were onboarding, and they wanted to take them through Excel training for something which was very specific to how they use Excel internally. But rather than putting all 300 people through the full program, we were able to create a customized program for them, assessment program for them, and identify which of the users would only be taking advanced training versus intermediate and advanced training. So again, getting everybody to the same level, but without having everybody go through the entire program. The other 2 pillars, the second and third pillars, learning content and delivery, that's kind of really goes hand in hand. Once you've identified what the skill gaps are, we look into what kind of content that particular organization may already have that we can utilize as part of the skill gap solution, or maybe repurpose it, or if need be, we can create new content for them, so depending upon the specific project. This is where we look into things along maybe custom video creation or interactive e-learning kind of content creation. But whatever content we create, it's really married with the delivery aspect of it. Because once the content gets created, it needs to be disseminated. The end users need to be able to consume it, and in a way which is very interactive, so that again the retention is high, going back to a point that Jeanne mentioned earlier. So it's really important for us to be able to understand again the skill gaps and then able to create the content, keeping in mind the various delivery aspects. In terms of our delivery aspects, we focus on everything from a large scale deployment of self-paced content, self-paced learning, to maybe a little bit more granular, to maybe a webinar which is going to a larger audience but more interactive, to online learning, to in-person classroom training, to on-the-job coaching, to mentoring solutions. So pretty much the whole gamut from top level down all the way to very individualized learning plans. And in terms of the content, again, apart from the e-learning content, the video-based content, we also have quick reference cards, things on those lines that we can create. So a couple of other examples I will share with you. We had a large construction company, a global construction company, and they were migrating from Lotus Notes to Outlook, to Office. And this complete company had no experience with Outlook before. And they had a global operation, more than 25 different countries, and every single country had obviously their own languages, their own culture. So they came to us looking for this solution, and we were able to create a very custom program for them, which included things from self-paced video content, to quick reference cards, to webinar-based learning, to on-site, in-person, classroom-based training. Now, all of these different pieces of content and delivery was done in localized fashion. So we had to translate the content and make sure the theme stays constant throughout the entire program. So this happened over a 9-month program over 25 different countries in 200 different locations. Another example I'll give you here was a global financial company. Actually, they came to us. And going back to another point that Jeanne had mentioned earlier, seems to be quoting you quite a bit here, but they had a lot of subscriptions to video content by companies like Skillsoft or Pluralsight. But the problem that they were facing was very similar to what we have heard from other companies. The content was there, but the uptake was very, very low. The ROI, they weren't getting back from them. The content wasn't engaging. The people had questions. They didn't really have answers to those questions. They didn't have a forum to get those questions answered. So they came to us, and then we were able to put together a very customized, innovative, interactive learning plan for them, where we were able to use their current assets, which they already have, along with the instructor-led component in there. After the initial pilot, it was so successful, we did it for over 2 years across multiple locations globally. So just a few different examples of how we have been able to help companies identify their skill gaps and then meet those skill gaps. Learning technology, again, we work with various LMS platforms, because once the content has been created, it's really important to store it somewhere so it's easily accessible. Multiple reporting and analytics is part of that. And then we also take care of the entire back office logistics and operations as part of learning administration. NetCom as a company, we've been around for about 20 plus years. We've been well received in the industry. Microsoft actually recognized us as their #1 learning partner globally from amongst 1,400 partners worldwide. So very proud of that accomplishment. Training industry has been consistently recognizing us as one of the top-tier, top training companies. And again, I think a lot of what these awards really stand or go to show is our innovative approach to learning as part of our managed learning services approach. In terms of our clients, I mean, we have served more than 80 of the Fortune 100 companies. We work with companies in all industries, all verticals. We have worked with city agencies, state agencies. We work with the federal government. We have worked with the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, Department of Justice, Department of Labor. We work with several international agencies like the UN. And we also work with all the 5 US Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and the Marine Corps. Our reach is global. Again, our solutions span multiple geographies. This is a quick sampling of where our clients are located and where we have provided services. It's pretty much all over the map and all continents except Antarctica right now. In terms of learning programs, I think we covered some of this in the discussion with the panel today. We focus on all the core technology foundations like the networking, security, programming, databases, but also a lot of the up and coming and what's really in demand currently. So things around data science, big data, BI, enterprise architecture, Internet of Things. But also on the soft side, we have the soft skills courses, leadership, management, and business courses. So just a quick sampling of the programs. I won't go through all of these. I mean, you have a copy of the slide deck in your packets, in your bags, so you'll be able to take a look at those. But it's really interesting, one of the earlier points which came up about how quickly technology changes. And we've been getting requests from companies looking for chef training. And our initial reaction was, no, we are not a culinary school. But no, chef is about how do we automate DevOps, which in itself is a fairly new technology. So chef and puppet are some of the new technology and new keywords which will become fairly common, but a pretty long list of various technologies we work in. And a very small sampling of some of the soft skill side of things. I'll leave you guys with our purpose. I mean, our purpose really is to promote the values of lifelong learning. I think it's never changing. It never stops. Every month, every day, every instant, there's something new that's happening. One of the things the panel just talked about, what's the risk of not continuing with education? And I'll leave you with the script here. A CEO was once asked, what if we train all these people and they end up leaving? And she replied, what if we don't and they stay?
That's right.
Right, so that's really the importance.
I think it's an Eisenhower quote, isn't it? Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Thank you again. Thank you for the opportunity and really glad to be here.